Hello, good evening, and welcome to Your Time to Shine with your hosts, Darlene and Julie.
Your Time to Shine is a radio show designed to help you explore your own divine gifts.
And tonight, Julie and I have a really fun topic in store for, well, depending on your point of view about fun. And some of the reasons why people choose not to dive into their intuitive gifts. And one of those reasons might be what our families and friends might think of us. So, Julie, do you have any stories in particular that stand out as far as why you may not have told people, or was there anyone in particular that you were not quick to tell about your intuitive gifts and bringing them to the surface and to the public eye?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Judgment is a really hard thing. And, as you have started your journey on something like this, whether it's been, ongoing since an early age, or you're just, tapping into those things right now, it's a fear of judgment. People are going to think I'm crazy, and I'm going to lose friends. I'm going to lose family. All of those things that we have running through our head. And I know for me, one of the big ones in my life was my dad. He was an amazing man. He was very much ahead of his time. And then in some ways, I felt like he was clear back in the Stone Age. And this is definitely something he would not have understand. He would have just gave me that look and like, what are you talking about? And it's all hocus pocus, and come on, you can't be serious. And, I think I've mentioned on the show that he passed away a little over a year ago. And of course, now that he's on the other side, I talk to him on a daily basis, and, I know now he understands, but, in the human life, he wouldn't have understood. And in fact, it's something that my brother and I don't even talk about, because my brother thinks it's all, he, has the same mindset as my dad. It's all hocus pocus. And so, a lot of it is, how do you navigate that in your life, right? I mean, Darlene, I'm sure you've got stories of people that, you were afraid of the judgment as well.
Yeah, it was really interesting because when I was little, I was definitely psychic and had, I saw spirits and ghosts. And then I sort of put it on the back burner and just started living my life and going to school. And then when I was diagnosed with cancer, I started searching for alternative healing modalities to help out with what I'd be going through. And when I started to explore alternative healing modalities is when my psychic abilities turned back on big time. So I started working with Reiki energy. And when you start working with energy rather than, the 3D world, all of your senses heighten, and everything that is intuitive about us, that all of us have, all of us share, I started working with it. It was right there front and center. And the person I happened to be married to, this was new for him, because when we first joined together, that was not part of my world. So it's something still that isn't easy for him to talk about, but it's something that's so important to me that I keep going anyway, and I find the joy in it. And I have a huge community of friends and supporters and clients who do appreciate it. So it balances out, and I just keep doing the work. I keep asking, what would be fun for me? So even though there may be judgment out there, I make it a game. Sometimes I'll say, okay, who can I surprise today with, with something? So I look for the fun in it, and the judgment doesn't really affect me anymore like it used to. And so just looking beyond the judgment and it's more about focusing on the enjoyment I get from it. And that makes it more important, when we're living our true self rather than pretending to be something we're not. So it's almost like the judgment is worth it, because if we listen to the judgment and don't live our purpose and we're not in alignment with our true self, you're going to have other issues, whether it's illness in your body or your life seemingly not working out because you're not being honest and true to yourself. So definitely being being true and maybe being judged, it's more worth it that way. So is there something, Julie, that when you are faced with a judgment, what is it that, how do you respond, or does it depend on who it is?
It really depends on who it is and what they're asking. If they are, if I feel like they're open to hearing, what I have to say about it, then I will, I'll open up and let them know. If it looks like it's going to be someone who, isn't quite ready to hear that. I know there's a couple people at work that I thought maybe were ready to hear what I had to say. And when I mentioned it, it was like, yeah, and then they started talking about something completely different. So it's hard not to take that kind of personally, but I really try to say, okay, everybody has their own belief systems. Everybody has their own thoughts. And it's not for me to try to make them believe. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to help people, stand in their light and help others. I do readings. And so I help others connect with their loved ones so that they can get some, some heartfelt messages and some relief, that their loved ones are really okay. So that's really not my purpose here. My purpose is not to make people believe something that I believe, because I think that's wrong. Something with judgment is, even if someone compliments you, like, wow, Darlene, I love your scarf, that's a judgment. It's a positive judgment, but it's a person's judgment, right? So it's a matter of taking a look at that and saying, okay, so what am I willing, how badly do I want to stand in my own light and follow my own path? Because you're getting judgment all around you, and it's just a matter of how you look at it, right?
Right.
So Darlene's laughing because we had this whole conversation about her scarf offline. But anyway, it was a perfect example.
See, judgment can make you laugh. So another point that we really wanted to talk about is that sometimes if we are being judged, we may often have the inclination to prove ourselves or to try and convince somebody that this is possible, that, that we are what we are, we're not lying, or we're not crazy. It's really, before you start to do that, really think about if it's worth your time. Is that person ready to hear that? Will they ever accept that something like that exists? Because each of us have our own point of view and our own experience with whether it's psychic gifts or any kind of gifts, however somebody is raised. And sometimes there's just no arguing or getting around their point of view, trying to prove something to them. And really, it's about just being okay with it, being okay with what other people think and what other people say. Because really, honestly, does it matter? Does it really matter?
Right. And, you brought up a really good point, because I've often thought, I wish there was something that Spirit would show me that only my brother knew, right? And I could prove to him that I'm really not crazy. I really can do this stuff. And like you said, I got to thinking about it and I thought, what does it really matter? I mean, because it might not change his thinking about it anyway, regardless of whether I knew something that nobody else knew. I mean, he would he would justify it. Oh, well, she talked to so-and-so who knew something another. And, that's how she knew. Right. I mean, they're going to justify it. They're going to find if they're not ready to believe and be open up, they're just going to justify it with some like ego-based thing. And when I say ego, I don't mean it like the typical ego type thing that you think of. I'm just, it's the brain, it's the conscious mind that takes over and tries to make sense of it all. That's the ego, right? That's the ego brain. And so, he's trying to do something to make sense of all of it. Like Darlene said, does it really matter? No, I've come to the realization for me, it doesn't.
And when it's our purpose and we're in alignment with that purpose, we focus on, number one, who will receive it. Mm-hmm. Number two, what brings us joy about it. And that's where you place your focus. And that's where life will be most fulfilling. You find who do understand it and want to learn more about it.
Right.
So,
and you'll find that people will come into your life who you never thought possible, right? Or you never thought would come into your life, because Spirit understands those things, and they bring those people into your life, right? So,
right. Especially if that's where our focus is. So
exactly.
With law of attraction, energy goes where your focus is. So if you're out there looking to prove yourself, looking for judgment, or looking for the people who don't believe because you want to change people's minds, that's who's going to show up. Mm-hmm. You can also, change your mindset. I'd rather focus on the people who care about what I do and the benefit that can be in their lives and how I can support them. So energy goes where focus is, something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because you're right. I mean, if that's what you're asking the universe for, is to bring you people because you want to try to prove your point, that's exactly what you're going to get more of.
Right.
And that's just going to be frustrating.
That fun for you?
No, that's not fun at all.
Right. And if you have the gifts, maybe it would be more fun to use them and play with them with other people who want to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to remember, we were born with these gifts to first off help ourselves and to help our lives and to help our loved ones. And if that's as much as you do with it or as far as you take it, then you have completed your purpose. But if it's something you really want to do, then take it another step further.
Not care about the judgment. Well, you learn to get through it and to find that there's more joy in being grateful for what you have rather than trying to fight against people who don't understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we ready? Are we ready to take a caller? Oh, this whole night is just flying by.
I know, it is. Yes, let's take a caller.
Okay. Sue in Illinois, you are on the air with Darlene and Julie.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. How are you tonight?
I'm good. I took a loss last night of my dad, and it's really hard, and I just feel so empty, but he's at peace, and I just want to know that he's okay and he's going to watch over us.
When did you say this happened?
Yesterday morning.
Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. That is so hard.
It is.
I don't care who you are. It's never, ever easy. So, yeah, absolutely know that he is definitely going to be there and taking care of you. Darlene and I have kind of talked a little bit about this on previous shows that, if your loved ones have passed and they're not giving you any signs, It could just be that they are energetically trying to take a rest, and
Yes.
they're trying to adjust to not having a body anymore. They're trying to adjust to being energetically different. So I want you to know that he's taking a little bit of time right at the moment to adjust. But no, he's very, very anxious to get back to you and to your family so that that he can communicate with you. But I just want you to know, if you don't get any signs, if you don't hear from him right away, don't take that as a bad thing. Just be patient in the waiting.
Well, he's talking I have an 8-year-old, and he loves my dad to death, but he's been saying my dad's been talking to him and relaying messages through him to us.
Nice.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That is awesome.
He said he had a spring concert tonight, and he said Grandpa was sitting there telling me I'm doing a great job, but he's like, Mommy was driving me nuts. He goes, I'm trying to concentrate and sing, and he's telling us too he loves me, and I'm doing great, and he's with me.
He went right into the light. I mean, it was instantaneous. Sometimes it's not as an easy of a transition, but I almost feel his excitement that he would be able to cross over and be such a support to you and your family. He was excited about being able to do that for you and to be in that.
Yes.
So
it's been hard, but
is there something that brings you comfort, or just knowing that he's right there?
My main thing was knowing that he's in peace and he's pain-free now, and just that he'll watch over us and make sure we get through this okay, because it's a rough time right now for all of us. But my little one says that Grandpa's been with him, talking to him and meeting places with him and everything, and I'm just praying that that's so true, that he'll stick with us.
Oh, yeah.
There is a major connection between him and that grandchild. I can feel it. There is a really big bond right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's never going to be too far away.
Do you see us being okay? Him and my mom were married 55 years, and she's taking it real hard, but she's not as bad as my little ones, and me and my kids are taking it. That we thought it was going to be worse on her, because she stood right by his side until he was passed.
Right. What I'm seeing is he's suggesting that you go to the places where you would go with him when he was still alive and in body, and just sort of be grateful for those times that you had together and soak up those moments in those places.
Yes, I was camping.
Yeah. And it just continue to do what you did before, and he'll always be there. Just such a light. Oh, yeah. He's never gonna. You're right, Julie. He's never gonna be far away from you, Sue.
No.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's what I needed to hear.
And also that connection to nature and to earth. It's important to everybody, but right now, I get the sense that it would help you as you're going through the stages of grief that we all do when we lose somebody. Just take your time, take things a little slower, be patient with yourself. Take breaks in the day if you feel you need to, cry if you'd like to. In my culture, we light a candle for the person who's passed. And maybe, you can light a candle and you and your kids can sit down and think about all the fun things that you did with him.
Yes.
Bring in some light and some joy with it.
I'm seeing a campfire, and because you said that you guys did a lot of camping, Anytime that I don't know if you have a fireplace at your house, but if you do, definitely have fires and
Yes,
talk about it and honor him.
That was his thing.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel or know who met him on the other side when he passed?
I see a father.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I see a male figure.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's his parents. I see both of them standing there.
Because my little one, it scared me right away when we told him. He grabbed my mom and everything, and then after about 10 minutes, he's like, Grandpa said that his mom met him, and she was crying, and she was so happy to see him and everything.
Yep. They were definitely both there together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What a beautiful gift that your son has.
Yes.
It's
amazing.
It's beautiful too that you're encouraging.
Yeah, I told him when he started saying that Grandpa was talking to him and Grandpa said he loved us and giving us a kiss, I told him don't be scared, just let Grandpa talk to you and you listen.
I love that.
That's awesome. Because this is about the age that kids start turning it off, right? So the more you can encourage, the longer he will be able to hold on to that gift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's 8 years old.
Right.
Oh, it's just a blessing. It's just a blessing.
If there's a way to, does he like to write or to sing?
He loves to write and he loves to draw.
So this would be a beautiful time to one of those ways to enhance the gift or to just keep him enjoying what it is that he does, writing about it, journaling, making pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
And not pushing it, though. Like, if you suggest it and he does it, that would be great. But anything that, when we start pushing it, sometimes kids will tend to turn the other way. But, just, casually say, let's draw some pictures or make some... write a poem. Does he like poetry? Does he write poems or stories?
They haven't started doing that yet because, like I said, he's only 8 years old, so he's in second grade. So
yeah,
but he likes to write and he loves to draw.
Beautiful. Yeah, I would encourage that definitely. Is there any other question that you have for us, Sue?
No, I just wanted to make sure that the rest of this year is going to be all right for me and the rest of my family, my mom and my boys.
Yeah, just be patient with yourself, and everything should be okay. Yeah,
I'm just more relieved that my dad's pain-free now. So he suffered. He didn't suffer too much, but he fought hard. He had cancer, so he fought it pretty hard and till the end, and he did at least passed away in his peace. So.
Okay, that's helpful. That helps us on this side.
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Sue, so much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Love to see you. So, Julie, we have about 2 minutes left, which we'll talk about the class we have coming up April 18th. We're doing your intuitive connection. So if anybody is interested in connecting to their gifts, we're doing an online class Wednesday, April 18th. This time at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. And we would love to have you join us. And you can go to our website, yourintuitivementors.com. And there is a page, classes and events, and you can go and read about the class. And there's a link to all the information. And we hope to see you there. And we plan on it being very fun. And it will be on Zoom, which is, it's camera-based. So the class will be able to see you, and you can participate and ask questions. And it's a really fun way that we've both been exploring to teach and be out there in the world. So We hope you have a great night. And again, you can go to yourintuitivementors.com and read all about our class we have coming up.
We will see you again next week on A1R Psychic Radio. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for joining us.
And we so appreciate all our listeners and everybody who follows on the Facebook channel when we're on. And remember, there's a phone number to call, so we don't do readings. If you ask a question on Facebook, you call in and we'll answer through our producer, Dave. And again, thank you for joining us and have a great rest of your week and weekend. And we look forward to seeing you again next week.